Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. Today, I just want to do a video about vitamin B1 and the difference that it's made for me. And also, I've started eating fermented vegetables. And that's made a huge difference as well. So, for those of you who haven't seen a video of mine before or seen my previous videos, I'm going to go into a little bit of my history and my health journey. I used to weigh 458 pounds. My weight was actually a little higher than that because I was putting on 10 to 20 pounds every 3 months. And I had been 6 months since my last weight that I took at my cardiologist's office at the time. I was on 300 plus units of insulin per day. Plus I was on metformin. My last bad A1C was in the 14s and my highest A1C I'd ever had was in the 17s. I needed a knee replacement. They wouldn't do it because of the ulcers, the non-healing diabetic leg ulcers that I had. I had diabetic retinopathy, macular edema, and macular degeneration. I had to get really expensive eye shots. They did every other eye every month, and they were $2,000 each time. They burned my retinas with lasers as well, where they were starting to bleed, and they can burn the part that's not your macula. I had a torn rotator cuff. I don't know if it was completely torn or started to tear, or I've heard that they can't, a completely torn rotator cannot heal. I had the early stages of gout, and I had arthritis in my feet. I had all kinds of doctors and surgeons and ologists, but I always felt like crap. Everything always hurt. I did good to get out of bed and walk to the coffee pot in the morning. I started the keto diet like 5 years ago. It's really closer to 6 years ago now. And now I'm primarily carnivore. And I have been 100% carnivore, and I've moved back to having some vegetables. Today, I've lost a little over 200 pounds, and I feel better than I did when I was 20, right? Nothing hurts. I have no leg ulcers. My knee and shoulder have healed, and I'm no longer going blind, and I have normal A1Cs. I still had a problem with extremely resistant hypertension. It would get better and then it would get worse. I had a stroke in October of last year, 2023. I received the clot buster really fast. In about 3 months, I made a pretty full recovery. And today, I really don't have any side effects other than my right hand will tingle a little bit once in a while. And I have a little trouble sometimes recalling the right word to say. And that used to be like I couldn't remember it all. And now I'll just have to pause for a few seconds and it'll come to me. My MRI that I had after my stroke showed that I'd had 4 to 5 previous strokes. They were smaller strokes that were deeper in the brain, so I didn't notice the symptoms from them. But I remember when I was laying on the ground and I'd roll my head to the side, like working under a car, I'd get real dizzy and then I have to sit up. And those things would happen and then they would go away in, 4 to 6 weeks. My cholesterol is fine. My highest reading ever was on my LDL was 121, and my lowest reading was 95. It normally hovers around 110 to 115. And LDL is not cholesterol. LDL is actually healthy for you, unless it's broken, glycated, oxidized LDL. I had all of the heart tests, the scans, the ultrasounds, the nuclear tests, the stress tests. I had a CTA scan, and I had a complete ultrasound on my neck and heart. And I have many other tests on my kidneys and all these things. And they're all fine. They all came back normal. I have no blockages of any kind in any of my arteries. I am currently on pretty high doses of a BP medication, and we've recently added another BP medication to that, which has really helped. But my BP has still been pretty high since my stroke until here recently. So right now I'm down from where I was on 9 medications to I'm now on 7, and I'm continuing my proper human diet healing journey. So I want to talk about my high blood pressure, number one. It just, every time I would take blood pressure medication, I would get achy muscles, sore, severe sciatic pain from my butt muscles actually breaking down and tearing and then swelling and pinching that sciatic nerve. And if you haven't had severe sciatic pain, I'm talking about the sciatic pain that makes it so you cannot stand up and get out of bed. It's really painful. And I would think it was a blood pressure medication, like it was the nifedipine. I quit taking that and I feel better. The truth is anytime my blood pressures got down below 160, my muscles just wouldn't get enough oxygen and they would start to break down. They believe my hypertension, at least part of that, is pulmonary. So I have to have the high blood pressure to assist the right side of my heart to get enough oxygen to my lungs to oxygenate my blood. I'm sure that has gotten worse because I was a smoker for 30 years. I had my last cigarette the day I had my stroke and I was waiting on the ambulance to come. So I have quit smoking, but my blood pressure's still been skyrocketing. Normally I take blood pressure medications and they would start to work, but then my body would just elevate it back up. So recently they've started me on a half of a 50 milligram pill twice a day of Viagra, which is like the primary drug they use for pulmonary hypertension. I have not been able to afford the test where they put a cath in and go into your heart and measure the pressure. On my insurance, that's going to cost me like $3,500. And I'm still paying back the hospital in payments for my stroke and everything else. I can't afford it right now. So they gave me the Viagra and it's really helped. It will allow my blood pressure to get down below that 160 range, even into the 120s sometimes, normally 140s. And I don't feel bad. My muscles don't hurt. So I did some, watching a YouTube and some research, and I started taking vitamin B1. I started with 1 per day. Now this is the HCI kind. Your body only absorbs 4 to 5% of it. They have a more expensive one that's more absorbable. I haven't bought that. This was like $5 for 180 pills. But I started taking 1 and I started noticing like I'm really feeling good. Like I feel good. I feel happy. I feel good. All my muscles feel fine. I don't have any aches or pains or even hints of aches or pains. So I started taking 2 and I felt even better. And now I take 3 at 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This vitamin B1 has been a life changer for me. Also, the effects that I have from my stroke, the numbness on the right side of my body, in my hand, and my foot also gets numb. That almost completely goes away when I'm on vitamin B1. Also, my stroke was in my cerebellum, my last one. So I kind of get this feeling sometimes when I'm on a longer walk, that I'm it's kind of like I'm swimming, right? I'm not 100% all there in my balance, right? And this eliminates that problem. And so I did a lot of research on vitamin B1. A lot of people with thyroid problems, they need vitamin B1. It's one of the precursors to how your body makes its thyroid hormones or whatever. My thyroid tests have always come out 100% normal. But, you know, if you have thyroid problems, consider B1. B1 is one of those weird vitamins that's water soluble, and it only stays in your blood for a very limited amount of time before the kidneys filter it out. But when you need B1, your body dips into your reserves, into your organs and tissues, and pulls that B1 out and then uses it. And your B1 can get severely depleted over time. And then your thyroid, for instance, has to work even harder to get more B1 out of your organs and cells to produce the thyroid hormones that it needs. So you can become severely deficient over a long period of time of eating a ultra-refined standard American diet. And it won't be bad at first because you have plenty in reserve, but as you continue to use it and not replenish it and not get good food for it, it quickly depletes in your body. Other things that have happened is I still had a little bit of swelling in my right leg. It would just get a little swollen. You know, you push it with your thumb and hold it for 10 seconds and it leaves a little indentation. And that had gotten a whole lot better. It went completely away in my left leg, and it had gotten a whole lot better in my right leg, just being carnivore. But it still happened to some extent. On vitamin B1, that has gone away. Very rarely, I just feel like my leg's a little swollen, but not that bad. And it's usually when I'm walking all day at the amusement park, right? Just normal day-to-day stuff. It doesn't swell up. Vitamin B1 plays an important role in how your cells absorb insulin and stuff too. So a shortage in this can lead to insulin resistance and some diabetes. It plays an important role in your nervous system and your nervous system health. So I think that's why it's helped my stroke symptoms. But I am taking vitamin B1. Now, I have also started eating fermented vegetables. I watched Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. I think it is their channel. Great channel. Love those guys. But she really does a lot of fermenting vegetable videos. No, I haven't gone in and been like, I want apple garlic spice sauerkraut. I just make sauerkraut, right? I just ferment only carrots. Yeah, I keep it simple and just ferment the actual vegetables. But they are good. They are delicious. And for at least 4 or 5 hours after you have a few spoonfuls of naturally fermented sauerkraut, you feel amazing. You feel absolutely amazing. You're just happy and you feel good and you're full of energy and you look at the world like you're a child again, right? It just everything seems new and fresh and good and just really positive thoughts about everything. And the vitamin B1 also helps with that. So I think those two things, and I started doing them about the same time. They've really helped me, and I'm back on the weight loss path. I'm losing more weight. I'm losing a couple pounds every week, and I'm really happy. You know, a lot of people say plants are trying to poison you, plants are bad, plants are this. However, fermenting your plants allows the bacteria to go in there and break them down and make more of those nutrients bioavailable. And those bacteria are good for your digestive system. They keep it healthy. They keep your mucous membrane and your intestines intact and don't contribute to you having a leaky gut. And I find that that's really nice and beneficial. I still have some unfermented veggies now and then as well. I have some peppers and some onions. I have a keto chili that I make once in a while. So I do go back and have a keto meal as a treat once in a while, a nice clean keto meal. I mostly eat meat. I have days that go by that I've only eaten meat. But I normally just have a few spoons of sauerkraut these days. But I'm not eating any of the refined junk. You go to the gas station, you see that bag of Lay's potato chips, like, that looks good. And you just have to remind yourself, is it really worth it? Is it worth feeling like crap, being diabetic and dying early and having another stroke and having all those health problems? No, it's not. Right? It's not worth it. I've even gotten cleaner with my diet. I used to be like, oh, I don't have time to go home and make a lunch. I'm just going to stop and get some hot dogs. Those hot dogs have bad things in them. They're refined food. A lot of them. They're cleaner than most things, but I don't eat those hot dogs anymore. I will just be hungry until I can get home and eat. And that's fine. My hunger isn't nearly as severe as it used to be when I was on the standard American diet, right? It's like, I'm hungry, but I can wait. And not, I'm hungry, I gotta eat right now, I'm hangry. And I've noticed that on the vitamin B1, my appetite is not as big, right? I can get full off of a couple eggs and a couple pieces of bacon, and I'm completely full and satisfied, where I used to want a half a dozen eggs, right? And I still do have times when I get really hungry and have more food, but not nearly as often, and I can skip meals a whole lot easier on the vitamin B1. So if you're having problems with the carnivore diet and stuff, I would still suggest, if you're still having problems after that, try vitamin B1. And again, do what I did. Start with 1 pill, then go to 2, then to 3. I don't think you can take too much of this. I think you pee it out, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I take 3 of them a day, and it seems to really work miracles in my life. All right, I'll talk to you all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.